It seems like every so often someone gets on their soapbox to yap about how quote-unquote bad Sonic games are. Today is unfortunately no different. A couple days ago, I found myself stumbling across an article titled "Sonic the Hedgehog would be a truly great franchise if not for the games." Before I let out a discontented groan, I asked myself, what is the truth behind the title? As I'm sure you all know, we live in a society of clickbait. People use triggering words to get your attention, even if those words are misleading. They bait you into clicking the video or the article. So, needless to say, I was wondering if this article was doing the same thing. After reading all the way through, I can confidently say, it doesn't. It's a short article and a really fast read, so if you'd like to see it for yourself, I left a link to it below the video. I'm going to do a brief overview of what I found important and challenge the opinions of the author of the article wherever I see fit. Firstly, the author starts by claiming that Sonic the Hedgehog games have ranged from awful to occasionally decent over the past 30 years. Mind you, Sonic has been around for, as of the writing of this script, 33 years. Essentially what the author is saying here is that since its inception, Sonic has either been awful or decent at best. I can't really object to any of this because that's entirely opinion based, but just so you know, I vehemently disagree. Later in the article they do mention specific games, and I will go into more detail when we get to that point, but following this, the author claims that they are fans of Sonic the Hedgehog. They say, and I quote, "I love everything about Sonic the Hedgehog. His blue design, his blue sky worlds bursting with primary colors, checkerboard landscapes and pinball parts, his reticence to show feet, and every piece of clumsy, earnest fan art that Sonic fans have composed in MS Paint. That includes every fetishized Sonic, Tails, and Amy atrocity lurking in the depths of DeviantArt." Now, I wrote here in my script to pause for dramatic effect, but I don't really think I need to. Honestly, I think this is just a weird thing to say. Almost as weird as not leaving a like on this video and subscribing to the channel. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? I think the author is trying to illustrate just how much they like Sonic, but it feels more like they're making a mockery of the franchise and the fanbase instead. It feels cheap and dishonest. I mean, if I like Sonic, I'm not gonna sit here and say that the fetishized art makes me a fan. Instead, I might tell you a story of how I became a fan, or tell you about what keeps me coming back to this franchise. To their credit, the author does do this immediately after talking about how much they enjoy the DeviantArt drawings of Sonic and Friends. But at that point, as a reader, you've already made me feel like your interest in the franchise isn't actually real, or at least not anymore. In other words, the damage has already been done. After talking about their experiences with their first Sonic game, Sonic 1, back in 1991, they say that they basically like everything except for the way the game is played. The author claims that, and I quote, "Sonic's floaty jumps, overemphasis on speed, and rings-based health system are anathema to me. A player raised on the tight platforming of Super Mario Bros." It's so funny, you can never have a conversation about Sonic games without talking about Mario, but you can have a conversation about Mario games and not talk about Sonic at all. Anyway, the thing that really takes me out here is the whole overemphasis on speed thing. Since the beginning, Sonic's whole thing has been speed. This is nothing new. If you so adamantly claim you like Sonic the Hedgehog but you don't like the quote-unquote overemphasis on speed, then what exactly do you like about Sonic? That doesn't have to be your favorite thing about the character, but to not like it is just not liking Sonic. That's like saying you like burgers but you don't like the meat in between the two buns. What are we talking about here? The author didn't like Sonic 1, 2, Adventure, 06, Sonic 4, and so on and so on. The author even calls out games like Sonic and the Black Knight, Unleashed, and a time-traveling Resistance fighter, which I think is either Generations or CD, as failures. The author talks about the infamous Sonic Cycle and believes that they are in the minority of disliking Sonic games. Trust me, you're not. This is a very common opinion to have. Nobody hates Sonic games more than Sonic fans. The article ends with the author talking about how much they are a fan of Sonic's friends, the movies, comics, TV shows, the social media accounts, and then doubles back by saying they actually don't like the fetishized art of the characters. The article concluded with the author saying they will continue to love Sonic from afar, occasionally reminding themselves that this is not good. I think it's all fine and good to not like Sonic the Hedgehog. Whether it's the games, the movies, the comics, the whatever. You don't have to like Sonic. You don't have to like anything. But I feel like this author throughout the article spends a lot of time trying to convince the reader, and maybe even themselves, that they are a fan, or even just like Sonic. I don't really think that anything they say in this article is a spicy take either. The games that he name drops and says are bad don't exactly have the highest reviews, and the feelings on games like Sonic Unleashed have only really recently changed, though the reviews have not. So, going back to the title, would Sonic the Hedgehog be a truly great franchise without the games? The movies have been successful, and same with other media within this franchise, but the games are what got Sonic to where he is today. Now, I acknowledge that the most important part of a video game, especially a platforming one, is the gameplay. But a game is still more than just that. This is overwhelmingly true when talking about a series like Sonic the Hedgehog. Looking at the adventure games, the storybook games, and more recently games like Frontiers and Superstars, Sonic the Hedgehog is a series that cares about story, lore, and continuity. They even have an entire role dedicated to making sure everything makes sense. I bring this up because without the games, we lose the essence that these characters and worlds are founded on. I'm not saying Sonic's writing is on the same levels of Shakespeare or anything like that, but I mean, love it or hate it, I think you can easily tell that there's a certain level of passion and care taken when writing a good few of these games. I mean, now we even get animated prologues or comics released before games because there's just more to the story that the game alone can't capture. I know I'm gonna have at least a little bias, but if I'm honest, I already think the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise is truly great. There's just so much to love, and I feel like anyone can get invested because there's an outlet for everyone. I didn't make this video to attack the author of this article, Michael McWhirter. I'm actually really glad they shared their thoughts because it once again opens up this discussion. It's also nice to see someone who's not taking a dump on every single aspect of Sonic the Hedgehog. But what do you guys think? Are the Sonic games holding the franchise back? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. This is your boy Sonic signing out. Have a super blessed day, y'all.
Why are you playing that trash?